Hi, and welcome back to the next video in the series, 13 Life-Changing Lessons by George Mack on the Modern Wisdom Podcast. Now to the video that we're going to be discussing today.
Oliver Berkman has this beautiful sentence where it's in the productivity debt essay that he does. And he says, I just have this vague sense, this vague fear that I'm falling behind. And I think that kind of really encapsulates, at least for me, if I take too much time off. And here's the brutal thing. You realize that you have become your own taskmaster in many ways. You know, you complain about the prison of your busyness, but you realize that you're the guard that's holding the keys to it. You've locked yourself in and thrown them out. So, yeah, we are the prison guards of the jail that we're complaining about in many ways.
I really like that quote, and it reminds me of something I once read in a book. I forget what book it is, but it's like, before our work week, when we're busy, we want to rest, and when we're resting, we want to work. So enjoy the work when you're working, and enjoy resting while you're resting, so that you don't want to be doing something than what you have to actually be doing during that moment. But the productivity debt is similar to what we talked about yesterday's video. If you haven't watched that, click the playlist at the end of this video, or you can find that on my account. When you work because doing something makes you feel like you're moving forward in life. This is a big issue because we have this feeling of falling behind, and part of this issue of falling behind is, and your work, and you're only looking at the inputs but not at what gets done. After a while, you get stressed out because you always feel behind because nothing is getting done. This is, again, looking and focusing on the outputs instead of focusing on the inputs. And this is from the productivity debt, but we talked about this a little bit in yesterday's video. And that inputs versus outputs, if we scroll up to, wow, we've done a lot of notes on this channel so far. Here we go. Let's go a little bit more. There we go. So focus on instead of what you do does not equal what gets done. That's an important thing to actually understand. So you have activities do not equal outputs. And if you stress activities, you don't necessarily increase outputs. Whenever you stress outputs, the end result, you always improve productivity, but often actually ironically decrease. You will always improve productivity, but you will often actually ironically decrease activity. Very important, and something that he's referring to here. And if we go back down to the quote he's talking about, being your own jailer, it reminded me of this quote I heard. I wrote this down here because I thought it was just such well said. You have become your own taskmaster. In many ways, you complain about the prison of your busyness, but you don't realize that you are the guard holding the keys to it. You've locked yourself in and thrown them out. We are the prison guards of the jail we are complaining about in many ways. And Chris Williamson right there, because that's his quote. But this really reminded me of, let's go down a little bit more, this quote from Franklin Roosevelt. Men are not the prisoners of fate, but only the prisoners of their own mind. And this quote is talking about how big you dream. You're not a prisoner of the circumstances you are born into. You're a prisoner of how big you can dream and how focused you can keep your mind and how focused on that goal you can be with intent and put the actions to it. And this quote about busyness reminded me of that. It's like, we think there's someone else holding us back. We think there's other outside circumstances. No. You're choosing to do the work. You're like, in some messed up way, you're choosing to be this stressed out because getting work done allows you to hide from the anxiety of feeling like you're falling behind. But if you can embrace that anxiety and stay with it, and instead of just rushing to do mindless tasks, actually look for the one or two tasks that are most gonna move that needle forward and apply the 80-20 principle to this, then you'll actually be able to make progress in your own life. And that's the whole point of this video. We're gonna go down here and click over here for a playlist of the other videos I made so far, and click right here to subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna be coming out with like, I think 8 more of these videos reflecting on the podcast because, as you've seen from my notes, I'm obsessed about it, and I think there's really, really great information, and they just don't quite go enough into detail for my taste. Anyways, peace out, and I'll see you guys later.